I mean, Jace, what a performance. First half, flew out of the blocks, and I suppose second half is about being professional, making sure you get over the line. And although Crystal Palace grew back into the game, it still could have been sort of 5 or 6, couldn't it?
Yes, yeah, and perhaps should have been. But look, excellent first half. I mean, brilliant. Took the game to them. Palace were off colour, and we made them pay for it in the most emphatic way. 3-0 did not really reflect the way the game went. Havertz could have had a hat-trick in the first half. Had it been 5 or 6, maybe even more at half-time, you could not have complained. It was that one-sided, and we were that good. Second half, it's always difficult to replicate the first half performance when you've been so dominant. The intensity, naturally, it's harder to achieve that because you are, and sometimes it's about in-game management. You don't need to go and take those extra risks. You don't need to go looking for those. You can be a little bit more patient in doing so. Just allowed Palace, a footing back into there. It's a really good goal by Benteke. But their normal service was resumed, and we went on to win the game. It was 5. Could have been double figures. I know that's being greedy, but it really could have been. That's the one thing. If you're going to say what could improve this performance, it would be taking the amount of chances that we created. But absolutely brilliant today, outstanding, and back and forth we go.
It's, mate, 23 Chelsea shots, 1 to Crystal Palace. I mean, good conversion rate from Palace, to be fair. 1 shot on target and then scored. Fair play to him for that. But Claire, like Jason said, it didn't flatter Chelsea 3-0 up at half-time. We wouldn't have been sat here saying it flattered us if we'd finished the game with 6 or 7. It's 4. It's a brilliant performance, and it's job done.
Yeah, really comfortable for us. I think we could have gone, double figures almost at one stage. I thought the way we were playing with such confidence. I really do hope, Jason, that warmed you up a little bit, by the way.
Yes. I don't need my gloves anymore. I don't need them. And that way.
Yeah, I think, look, it's an outstanding performance. We're back in the top 4. Am I right in saying that? I think I am.
Yeah.
And I think, look, job done. We wanted the 3 points, and we did it in a fantastic style. So I'm happy. Happy Saturday, everyone.
Zach, that's a marker as well, isn't it? Because it's the 4-1. I'm not being disingenuous or being harsh on Crystal Palace here, but they've been beaten 7 at home by Liverpool this season. They've been well beaten in some games, but more the manner of the performance and the way that Chelsea have played football today. Teams will take note of that, won't they?
Yeah, for sure, and especially over the coming fixtures. I think our next Premier League game is Brighton, and then after that, I'm not too sure. And then we've also got City in the FA Cup semi-final beforehand. But yeah, they'll look up and see. Okay, this Chelsea side, they've gone through that bad game. They've had that bad game, and they've come out the other side and have been the dominant side and been started taking their chances. And as Jay said, should have probably scored even more so. And so if I'm Manchester City and I'm looking at that weekend, having just had what happened to us happened to them against Leeds, you're looking at that Chelsea side, arguably not their strongest side per se. I mean, can you really say that with the Chelsea squad? I'm not too sure. I'd be worried, for sure. And the one thing I'm really, really happy about is the boys needed to win today. They needed to make sure they put their stamp and got back in that Champions League place after Liverpool result. And they went out there and they did that, and that's really, really good.
Jace, not looking too far ahead. Obviously, we've got a big game on Tuesday, and like Zach said, a big game next weekend, and then Brighton and West Ham in the Premier League. So it's a tough run of fixtures. The next 4 are going to be difficult, but when you see the performances of Christian Pulisic and Kai Havertz tonight, you can make a very big case for those two starting majority, if not all of them. Yeah,
there's been a number of brilliant performances here today. I thought Azpilicueta was superb again. It almost feels wrong of me to pick out individuals because it was such a brilliant team performance. Inevitably, you look at Havertz, who we've been looking for those type of performances, haven't we, this season? And it hasn't quite delivered. His ruthlessness in front of goal will have to, and I'm sure will improve. He could have had 4 on his own today, let alone the team scoring 4. So that's something but he's getting into those areas. And today was his best performance again. And I remember saying that a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember which game, but
Everton.
Yeah, okay, so there you go. So we're now starting to see perhaps some consistency about his game. Pulisic was looking more like the Pulisic that we saw just after lockdown of last year. And so there's all round. I thought Callum was, I was lucky enough to have him right playing in front of me. I thought second half, just watching him really closely linking up with Mace, who was also excellent. So, just excellent. Just a pleasure to be here today. It's one of those performances that you you look back on over the next 2 or 3 days, and it just leave you a nice warm glow because it was that good.
Claire, I'm going to give you an impossible question here, but I'm also going to kind of give you a little sidestep of saying,
if it's a quiz, I'm not playing, all right?
If you're picking a front three now, who's your front three for Chelsea?
I'm not going to sit on the fence, but I'm going to give a real diplomatic answer here. I think that it just does depend on the opposition.
Yeah.
Depend kind of, well, look, the form, fantastic. The front three were amazing today. Linked up really well, showed a lot of energy. But I don't even know. I'm not even going to go there, but I would like to see Pulisic. I'll name one. There we go. I've got it there. Look.
to be honest with you, Claire, it's an impossible question because I think you're absolutely spot on. That is the thing, though, isn't it? We're talking about, Havertz has done amazingly well today. Mason Mount's involved, but he's involved in some capacity in the squad anywhere, isn't he? The team's better with Mason Mount in it, so it doesn't matter where he is, he fits in somehow. Kai Havertz was brilliant. Christian Pulisic brilliant today. You got Olivier Giroud, who every time he plays seems to be unplayable. Tammy Abraham, who is still up there with one of the highest goal scorers for us this season. Timo Werner, who's had a hand in 20 goals for Chelsea this season. We've got so many options. We've got a big game on Tuesday night, and we could be having exactly the same conversation on Tuesday night with a completely different front three, saying they've got to start on Saturday against Man City, haven't they?
Yeah, and we've mentioned it a bunch. We've mentioned it all this season. So this is the beauty of having such a strong squad, and it's the difficulty of the manager, right? We can never pick a starting front three, let alone the manager, and he's always going to leave some people disappointed. He's always going to leave some people extra happy. We know he's certainly got some favourites, and as we said, I kind of agree that Pulisic should probably play after scoring 2 goals. Mason Mount also has to play. So really, does Kai start, or is it Werner or Giroud? It is difficult. But look, all the boys, when they do get their start, they have to take it. They have to make sure they take it and with both hands. And you can argue that Kai's done that today. You could definitely argue that Pulisic has done that today. But yeah, I mean, if one of them didn't start, I'd be like, yeah, I mean, sure. This is as Jay said as well before, like, Tuchel hasn't done much wrong, and so you can't really argue against him because normally he comes out as showing why he's the manager of Chelsea Football Club and not me.
Jay, good answer. Jay, Tuesday night's a big game, but do you pick a completely different team from today, or do you maintain? Is there an element to say this team's played so well today? Don't change it. Let them carry that form on. Or is it a case of he's probably already got a team in mind that he'll stick with for Tuesday?
Yeah, he'll have a team in mind. Interesting, he bought off Jorginho and Cover. The pair of them come off. Seem to remember. So therefore, clearly the engine room of that is an area that you want to give them some minutes off the pitch. I would start with Giroud. I felt that I was quite impressed with Porto with that high press. They've got to get back into this game at some stage. And I think that we will see a very similar performance to high press. And we struggled a little bit to get out. Today's game against Crystal Palace, we played against a side that was happy to sit. Therefore, getting out wasn't a problem. Therefore, we knew we'd have loads of possession. And we knew that once we get in around their final third, we need technically gifted players. Porto will be different, I think, and certainly what I saw with them the other day. So I think that was what I would do. I think you're going to go with your skipper. Will he play Silva, or will he go Christensen again? I think he'll probably go with Christensen. So there's that. I think he needs to change it. I think there will be certain players that he'll want to play. I'm sure that Reece will start defensively. You want to make sure we offer a much today's game. What defending did Callum have to do? I don't think he did any in actual, because he didn't need to. That will be different on Tuesday night.
Claire, in terms of squad depth, like Jason's just named there, you've got different options in every area of the park. We've got, I think if we make both finals, we've got 12 games left of this season. So there's still a good amount of football to be played, and the sort of intensity that Chelsea play at, and that every Premier League game is played at especially, but also that how frequent games are. There's going to be injuries. There's going to be little knocks. I mean, even Christian Pulisic come off at half-time last Saturday with what we thought might be a hamstring. And so you're going to get little muscle injuries and little knocks here and there. How important is it to keep everyone happy in that camp as well, though? Because like we said before, players want to play. Players always want to play, but you've got big games all the time. So is there a little bit in Thomas Tuchel's mind going, I know I've got a team for Tuesday. There's players that are playing today that aren't going to play Tuesday, but I'm going to need them next Saturday against Man City, or I might need them further down the line. How much of that comes into it now?
It's a difficult job that, I mean, I think managing that situation, making sure everyone's ready to go. But at the same time, you can't, be pandering if you feel like someone's not performing. So there is a balance, and if that player potentially might upset the balance of the squad, it's a tough I would never be a manager just for that in itself. I think it's a full-time role, just managing kind of the emotions that go with everything. But the key is just to make sure everyone maintains a focus, and if you kind of spin it in the way that you will get the opportunity, you will, if you train hard and you do this and you set the barriers to do so. I think that's what could keep everyone engaged. The likes of Tammy, he's what amazing beginning of the season he was having. He's fallen away after injury. I think the options are so vast that I don't know. I wouldn't want to be a manager at all.
I think you're spot on bringing Tammy into the conversation, because he started the season on fire. Last season was Chelsea's top goal scorer, has done brilliantly. Again, very, very different centre forward to the other two in the way that we've kind of said he's almost like a hybrid between Giroud and Werner at times, in terms of he's got that physical presence, he's got the ability to link play, but he's also got the pace to stretch teams in behind, Zach. When you've got someone like Tammy Abraham that at the moment hasn't been given, can't get a kick the last couple of weeks, but knowing that when he is called upon, you've got a player of that ability to come in completely fresh, a point to prove, and also, he's still like every footballer in that's playing for a European nation at the moment. He'll have one eye on wanting to get back into the England squad. So there's so many different narratives, isn't there? And it's important to remember that there's a lot of football still to be played, and we've got a lot of players that are still going to play a big part.
Yeah, for sure. And this is the whole point of having competition, that, as I mentioned earlier, once you get your chance, you have to take it, because you might not get that chance again for a couple of games. And those couple of games you need to try and get into that European squad. The case of Tammy's a really unfortunate one, because his ankle injury keeps seeming to play up at the worst time, and when he has been subbed off, it's not really down to his fault. It's more of a tactical change with the opposition that we're playing against. And I don't know after today's results, but he was like level top scorer of the club, having only played 1,000 minutes in the Prem, which is really, really impressive. And we all know the capability of Tammy Abraham. He's 23, so has such a huge future ahead of him. As I said, he'll get his chance. He'll get a chance, and he's got to take it. Just like every single one of these Chelsea players, once they're put in that squad, they have to take it.
The problem he's got, though, Tammy, is that Tuchel has got another option up top, hasn't he, with Havertz? So where before we felt he was first choice, maybe second with Werner, now he's behind Werner, he's behind Giroud. And now he looks like he's going to be behind Havertz.
But then we could get to Tuesday and he'll be starting. I'd be like, well, yeah, of course, this is it. Yeah, sure.
Possibly.
You just don't know anymore.
All right then. I'm going to put all three of you on this. I'm going to put all three of you on the spot now, and I'm not going to let any fence sit in. I need an answer. Okay. This time next week, we'll have played the second leg against Porto. This time next week, exactly, we'll be sat having this very show after an FA Cup semi-final with Manchester City. So, Jason, what competitions are we left in by this time next week?
Well, we're going to be in both, because we're going to go to extra time.
Oh, what are you doing that? What? I just said no fencing, and you've absolutely found a loophole.
Well, I think that the City game, I think we'll go through against Porto, okay? I think the Man City game is going to be incredibly tight. So in exactly 7 days' time, by my reckoning, the game will still be going on.
You're a disgrace. You're a disgrace. Claire, you're not going to do that to me. Tell me, in a week's time, where are we going to be?
We'll overcome Porto for sure. But I think, and don't, jump down my throat here, I don't think we're going to be able to overcome City. I think they've just got too much for us.
It's going to be really interesting.
I'm going to go now.
It's going to be really interesting, because I'm fascinated to see, because really, if you think about the challenges that Thomas Tuchel's had, this is the biggest one he's going to have since he's been here, right? I'm fascinated to see how he's going to set up, because he gets his team selection right. He gets the little nuances of team selection right, like playing Callum today and playing Chilwell really high and wide. That didn't happen by accident. So those little things that tweaks in game, really interesting seeing what he comes up against, an obviously brilliant manager and a brilliant side.
I was going to say exactly that to use that, because that's the one thing that I'm fascinated about. And again, I know we're desperate to have fans back in the ground and see things, but next week I do hope there is a camera solely on Pep Guardiola and Thomas Tuchel, because I don't think there's too big of fidgets in football. Like both of them, they're so animated on the touchline. It's going to be fascinating to watch. And like Jason's pointed out, whenever he's come up against the big test, whether it be Simeone, whether it be Jose, whether it be Oli, he's done very well so far.
Yeah, and I think they're also friends as well. They know each other outside of football, and they're kind of admirers of each other's football. I think when he joined, I think Tuchel said the way he wants his football to be played was like Pep's Barcelona, which is obviously some of the best football that we've seen. However, they've just lost to Leeds. And they actually do. I don't know about you guys, but for me, when I watched them against Borussia Dortmund in the first leg, they took me by surprise. That actually it could have been realistically, if the rules were, the ref didn't blow his whistle, so they're going to have to play a strong squad against them as well. So look, I'll back us to be in both competitions, having won both of them within 90 minutes.
Yeah, that's not. If you'd gone back 7 or 8 weeks ago, and you said to me, going in a game against Man City, I'd said, God, it's a tough game that for us. Now, I can see a pathway through. Yeah, I can genuinely feel, look, we know how good they are. We know what we're up against.
Oh, yeah.
I've got to tell you, after what I've just seen today, we'll give anyone a game.
Oh, love that. Well, obviously it's going to be a busy week, so there's plenty coming up on the fifth stand for you, including highlights of today's game. Well worth a watch. Going to be up around about midnight tonight. You can have a little bit of a rest tomorrow, but we are back at it on Monday in the PL2. We've got Southampton, that's from 6:55. And as if you need a reminder, the second leg of our UEFA Champions League quarter-final against Porto is on Tuesday evening. It's going to be a big night in Seville. Make sure you join us on Matchday Live from 6:50. And even more football, on Thursday, we take on Everton in the FA Youth Cup. So a very, very busy week and a very big week, like we've just mentioned. Hopefully, in 7 days, we could be sat here in the semi-final of the UEFA Champions League, in the FA Cup final, and definitely we will be in the top four of the Premier League, because we are at the moment. A fantastic Chelsea performance. Thanks for watching.
What's going on?